G'day legends, and welcome to another analysis for Ethereum. In today's video, we are doing a comprehensive macro and short-term analysis going over the key levels you should be watching, how the short-term price action is developing, what the next moves are likely to be, and even going over a macro fractal from 2021 applied to the current price action, which has not only played out identically from the 6th of October, but may be a bit of a cheat code moving forward to predict what is likely going to happen. We'll be using this fractal to give you an understanding of how the price action may be moving and of course a potential bottom price. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course guys, if you are interested, you can join us on Telegram. That is the first link down below. And finally, if you are new to this channel, you can also go ahead and subscribe to our main YouTube channel, which is Mega Whale Crypto, where we post all of our Bitcoin analysis. Maybe some of the viewers over here at the moment are actually from this channel. Maybe this is the first time you're watching. Either way, this is our main YouTube channel over here. So go ahead and check that out. Let's dive right into the content. So I want to take a look first and foremost at the current price action since the 6th of October top. And I want to take a look at that fractal I just mentioned moments ago. Now, we'll come to the short-term price action in just a moment. So let's just start by drawing a vertical line for the 6th of October. That was over here. As you know, I called the top on the 6th of October. I have been bearish ever since, and we've seen a significant pullback for the cryptocurrency market from that point. And for Ethereum, we dropped around 45%. So that is an astronomical correction for just a month and a half for Ethereum. A billion, 100 billion, nearly $1 trillion asset. It is a massive correction that we have seen over a very short period of time. So naturally, when we see these pullbacks, we generally increase the likelihood of seeing some sort of short-term bounce, and we have seen a little bit of a short-term bounce over for Ethereum from that 2,600 level up into now 3,000, around a 15 to 16% rally as Bitcoin bounced from the 50 EMA and bounced from the leading span B and Gaussian channel lower band on the Ichimoku cloud and Gaussian channel indicator, what we've discussed through our prior videos. So with that, we've seen the rest of the market bounce. Of course, the total cryptocurrency market cap has bounced at that 2021 high, and the altcoin market bounced within that $800 billion level of support. So we are seeing some bounces across the board, but if we take a look at this fractal from 2021, I want to go ahead and take from here. So this is the 2021 bear market. This, of course, is the 2021 top, and this, of course, is the 2021 bottom for Ethereum. The bottom for Bitcoin came at a much later date. It actually ended up being around about this point in time for a Bitcoin, around that November period. Ethereum did bottom a little sooner. Nevertheless, we're going to take the fractal from the top to that bottom point for Ethereum. We're going to apply it to the current price action. Let's just go ahead and do that. I always forget where that bar pattern is actually found. Here it is, bar patterns. We're going to take it from around about over here to the bottom, and we're just going to drag that over to the current price action. Now, I don't love to use fractals. I think fractals are hit and miss, but this is one of those rare instances where I've seen such strong similarities between the current price action and this fractal. It needs to be discussed. So obviously we're going to go ahead and compress it a little bit to make it a little bit more in alignment with the current price action. But when we take a look at this fractal, we can see how similar it has actually been. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring it down a little bit from here. What we saw is a initial top, which was the 6th of October, followed by a massive liquidation event, followed by a bounce, followed by some chop and consolidation, followed by a local top. Then we saw another correction into consolidation, another correction, and this is kind of where we are now. So if we take a look at that and we just bring that upwards again onto the current price action, you can really see over here how similar it has been. We had the top, we had the correction, we had that bounce period, we had that consolidation, we had that correction into bounce, we had that another leg down and a potential local bottom. And that local bottom was established at the same point of which we anticipated a local bottom for Bitcoin to be, which is around that 80,000 level, that leading span B and Gaussian channel lower band on the weekly. So if this fractal is showing us any sort of future for Ethereum, what we may be seeing here is a period of extended sideways consolidation before we eventually go into a all-time bottom or a macro bottom around that 1,800 to 1,600 potential low. That is something we need to be paying attention to, at least very loosely, as a fractal has played out very similar over the macro thus far. If we are taking a look at the macro price action for Ethereum, you can see we entered this volume gap over here, the VRPV, at around that 2,800 level. So it was historically a level of significance, a point of support, of course. We have come in to nearly retest that 200 moving average at the peak on the VRPV. Again, a trigger point where if broken, we can definitely anticipate another correction into that 1,800 level, which that fractal just suggested. So again, to summarize this really quickly, if we lose that most recently established low for Ethereum at that 2,600 level, we can expect the next macro leg down for Ethereum to begin, which will likely take us sub 2,000 into around 1,800. Until that happens, we have the chance to see consolidation and bounces develop within this range between the 50 EMA and the current price action, potentially on the short term as high as sell side, buy side liquidity, which is sitting at around 3,600, or break of structure 3,680. So all in all, what this means on the short term is that we've seen a large correction. The macro expected move is still going to be lower, but we are now in a period where we could start to see some chop, some sideways consolidation develop. And that goes for Bitcoin as well. So taking a look at the immediate short-term price action now. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. What we can see on the 4-hourly chart, we do have a bit of a weakening trend developing here. We do have this uptrending support level. We'll go ahead and draw that out over here. And we can see we are retesting this uptrending support level numerous times at our low. When our retest, and we're coming for a retest again. This is happening as we are approaching our prior sell side liquidity level. So again, points of local resistance, and momentum is starting to curve over a little bit. So again, some initial signs of exhaustion and weakness developing. If we see a breakdown of this trend, we could see corrections potentially back into these gaps in the VRPV. So we're looking around 2,900, we're looking around 2,850, and we're looking around 2,700. That it is unlikely that we are going to be cracking these lows on any sort of pullback. I'd be expecting some sort of short-term pullback, followed by consolidation, and then rallying back up, likely into these strong highs and these gaps in the VRPV around 3,600, which again would play out exactly as that fractal suggests before we then see a larger correction back down. Of course, a lot of this rests on how Bitcoin performs, but we do have to understand that Bitcoin is now at a key level of support. We know already, and as we've discussed in our main videos, that only upon the loss of these levels would we anticipate the next macro leg down, which would likely take us to a macro bottom for Bitcoin. So the next macro leg down for Bitcoin will likely take us to the bottom, and the same thing is going to be now said for Ethereum. The next macro leg down for Ethereum would likely take us to a macro bottom, and that would likely begin upon the loss of that most recent low at 2,600. We'll wrap up the video here, guys. I want us to keep it nice and short and sharp. I think the key things we had to discuss today were the short term, how the price action is developing, the macro trend, potential bottom target. So as we mentioned, around 1,800, maybe a potential bottom target for Ethereum. And of course, we're talking about the trigger points for the next leg down, which will be the weekly loss of that 200 moving average. We showed you that already. Breaking below level will trigger the breakdown into that low historical resistance range and likely continuation in this aggressive downtrend. But we've also identified that we do have a historical fractal, which is suggesting that we move into more of a sideways consolidation phase now, with a potential maximum bounce target of around 3,600, which then results in corrections back down and eventual losses of those lows into a bottom. So we are in a phase now where we could see sideways consolidation develop over the coming months, and that is something we need to be considerate of. So thank you for tuning in. A quick update for Ethereum. We'll catch you guys all on our main channel on Monday to go over Bitcoin. We have a lot to take a look at.